literally would say, make it like WoW. And then sometimes it would be so direct, they would say, make it like WoW or I'll find someone that will.
So I think that the problem that a lot of MMORPGs are facing is they are being made by following the science and not necessarily following.
This was actually one of the other interesting things that got talked about when I was talking about the loving robot dude who was like an older, from the Luckland area EverQuest developer. And he does these podcasts talking to the other developers and stuff. So in the last podcast, and this was with, it was like 4 of them, like 4 different ones, like from the original EverQuest, all kind of talking. And they'd all worked on a bunch of other games too. And they were talking about the big thing being about like essentially MMO, what's the word? Like MMO creativity. Like new, like really, what's the fucking word for, I don't know, like being really creative and innovative. It died with World of Warcraft. Not because World of Warcraft did anything bad, but because World of Warcraft became so successful and reached, like for online subscription games, you gotta understand, you're talking the numbers before, and they were crazy and unexpected. You're talking in the like, 700,000, maybe hitting up to like maybe 1 million. And then all of a sudden you have millions and millions and millions and millions. It created this dynamic where like every fucking thing coming out was supposed to copy WoW. And these guys were talking about working on other games after EverQuest and having other ideas to try to, be creative and bring some of this stuff that's just more from a passion base and things they thought would actually make the games good and enjoyable. And the studios and stuff they're working for would tell them, like, literally they would say, make it like WoW. And then sometimes it would be so direct, they would say, make it like WoW or I'll find someone that will. So like innovation in the MMO space died because WoW was so successful that everything tried to copy WoW. Yeah, instead of Blizzard copying everyone else and making it better, suddenly everyone wanted to yes, exactly, Curry.
And not necessarily following the passion of a small team. Because when you look at the big...
Yeah, literally, that was it. You're literally talking about these were teams with people that were passionate and had ideas, and they had studios telling them, just make it like WoW. I don't care about your fucking cool idea, just copy WoW.
Big successful MMORPGs, they had a relatively small team of developers work on them. Not many people worked on RuneScape.
Also true. And they also literally talked about this exact thing in the podcast thing with the 4 developers that I was watching yesterday. And they talked about these teams now having like hundreds of people and some even thousands. And right away, the guys there, all of them unanimously said, F that. I want no part of that. Give me like a small team of like 7 to 10 people that fucking really care and are going to work together and put their heads together over that any day. And that's what they came from. Like EverQuest's like original team was like less than 7 people, if I remember correctly. Like very small teams of passionate people that cared is how you get good games that like just stand on their own 2 feet without, right? Games keep you logging in these days, not because the games have fun, right? It's like you got to log in to get your fucking reward because you can't log in without a reward, right? You need a reward every day you log in because just logging into play is not really fucking worth it. I don't like it. It was very refreshing when I played Elden Ring and there was none of that. I was just like, oh, I'm literally just loving exploring this world. This is great. I don't have to log in. There's not a daily that I'm missing if I don't because I had to do something else today. Crazy.
World of Warcraft had a team of like what, 30 people?
Oh, sorry, I missed Curry's. What was this? Some games came out with unique features but bad story, and the other gameplay was meh, or the unique feature was so bad. Yeah, I mean, just in general, right? It's like you're trying to copy, but you're trying to copy like this team that's up here. They have the more funding and the budget and their thing, right? They've got it. It's smooth. It plays well. Like, bro, you're not gonna compete by copying. You've got to come up with. Right? Because in order to copy and do as well, you need to be able to be as good, probably need to be able to be even better, right? Whereas like if you come up with your own thing that's good, then maybe it can stand on its own, right? But like copying, I don't think is going to work as well unless you're better than the thing you try to copy, or you have to minimum be just as good And usually they always played clunk-like, right? They might look like it or have the similar features, but it's like they would play clunky, you know, in comparison, or literally you're just like, this looks so similar, feels, plays so similar. It's like the same game, but less people in it. And it's basically like a knockoff copy. Why would I play this, right?
I think it wasn't big, was it at all? It wasn't big at all. It wasn't, you know, hundreds or thousands of people.
No.
Elder Scrolls Online was probably the team with the biggest amount of people at the start, but I don't think they ever expected to be this big. I mean, Guild Wars 1 wasn't hundreds of people. It was a dedicated team. And now when you get an MMORPG team together, you've instantly got to get
the same for me, Curry, except going all the way back to EverQuest, and then I played WoW also, and you know, I played most of the ones you can think of, right, and including the Arcade and Guild Wars 1 and 2 and WoW and Black Desert Online, and like, you know, you could just keep going on. Well, Warhammer, like I played so many, I forget them, right? I had played the Warhammer Online one too, and I played Dark Age of Camelot, and I played, right, like I played most MMOs you could name, probably.
Hundreds of people, millions of funding, and you're focusing on what the science tells you to do, not what passion tells you to do. As much as I might think Mortal Online 1 and 2 made some mistakes, I can respect the fact that the developers of it went, this is what we're making. This is the game. Okay, cool. You're not aiming at me, but I respect the fact you're making it.
Yeah.
And in fact,
big agree.
There's further proof to back this up. Look at what's happened to RuneScape and WoW. The players got so sick of the kind of, you know, min-maxing of how much money can we get out with little effort put in, that they've gone back to the game that was beautiful in both graphics and story.
Yeah, classic.
They've got classic WoW, old school RuneScape, and they both look like shit. There's no...
And again, I talk about EverQuest a lot on this one. But the reason is, like, again, there's another thing here. Same thing with the Project 1999 version of EverQuest that's on my computer and that I play. And when I log in and I can see the server list, it usually has, like, more people than are playing on the other servers, too. Because the people that are playing this game, like, they are looking for that, right? And a lot of that is lost in the live version of the game that has the cash shop and all the other bullshit.
Denying that. They look awful. But...
And they tried to redo the graphics and everything else too, and a lot of people don't think that it doesn't necessarily look enough better, and then you just kind of lose that like nostalgia. It's like it wasn't long enough, right? They didn't need it yet, right? It was like maybe 10 more years from when they did it, and then they could have done a graphic overhaul that really looked good. But instead, you know, a lot of people are just like don't like the updated graphics that they tried to do.
They are incredibly fun.